Going Green to Stay in the Black: How Environmental Sustainability Efforts Benefit Businesses. Presentation by Lauren Terry, Florida State College at Jacksonville. Energy sustains life. Without it, billions would be left cold and hungry. But what does it cost to create all this energy? Unchecked population growth combined with rapid technological advancements have resulted in extreme natural resource consumption and corruption, which is at the heart of our current global environmental crisis. In this presentation, I will outline what has led to the current environmental situation, highlight businesses who have chosen to operate in eco-friendly ways, and illustrate how this decision impacts the bottom line. The Industrial Revolution, which took place between the 18th and 19th centuries, was a period that saw a shift from predominantly rural agrarian communities to bustling urban societies through the advent of mechanization, automation, and factories. Fast forward a century or so to 2018, where manufacturing is no longer confined to small, private homes and shops using only crude hand tools and simple gadgets. Now, traveling to another continent takes just hours on an airplane, hundreds of thousands of pairs of shoes are produced daily, and world news is available at our fingertips in real time. As with any advancement of this magnitude, industrialization also comes with its share of negative consequences, such as widespread environmental destruction. Only 100 years after the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, the world population grew 100% to 2 billion people in 1927. Today, the population has more than tripled, with approximately 7.5 billion people living on planet Earth. This unprecedented population growth has led to dramatically increased needs for energy, resulting in the same increase of fossil fuel consumption and greenhouse gas production, both of which are now at their highest levels in recorded history. And as the world population continues to surge, so does the environmental degradation and destruction. As outlined by the United Nations, greenhouse gas emissions from human activities are driving climate change, continually rising, and are currently at their highest levels in history. Greenhouse gases perform like a blanket covering Earth and trapping energy and heat in the atmosphere. Human activities, especially the burning of fossil fuels for energy, increase the amount of greenhouse gases in our atmosphere and cause the climate to warm. Global warming refers to the rise in average surface temperature on Earth. Between 1880, when recording began, and 2016, the surface temperature on Earth rose 1.71 degrees Fahrenheit, meaning it is hotter now than any other recorded time. Climate change is the term used to describe the Earth's warming trend along with its paradoxical effects. So, as the world is getting hotter, cold and wet events like snowstorms and rising sea levels are occurring more frequently. According to the United States Environmental Protection Agency, air pollution levels rose 14% from 1990 to 2008, and air pollution is a leading cause of climate change. As explained by Rogers, one of the most significant sources of the air pollutants that are driving climate change is large-scale industrial factories found throughout the world, whose industrial pollution is one of the primary sources of environmental contamination. The most common source of the energy used to operate these factories is the burning of fossil fuels such as coal. Their daily operations emit harmful gases such as carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide. Although these are naturally occurring substances, their high emission levels are the cause for alarm. The EPA suggests 3 ways that businesses can reduce their contribution to air pollution. First, they should work to manage and reduce their emissions. Leading businesses are taking steps to not only understand their greenhouse gas emissions, but to managing them as well. They compilate annual greenhouse gas inventories and set long-term targets to reduce those harmful emissions. Second, companies should aim to increase their energy efficiency, which will directly reduce their greenhouse gas emissions into the atmosphere. The EPA adds that developing and implementing an effective corporate energy management program also allows companies to manage energy with the same expertise as other aspects of their business. The third measure suggested by the EPA for businesses to curb their negative impact on the environment is to buy renewable energy. Renewable energy, also referred to as clean energy, is 100% pollution-free and is produced from renewable sources like sun and wind that are naturally replenished and virtually inexhaustible. But can businesses really operate in environmentally responsible ways and be profitable? Data has been compiled that clearly demonstrates yes, there is great economic value for organizations to go green. Long-term research on the forward-thinking companies who have chosen to take a stand against environmental degradation provides evidence that their efforts are paying off literally. Eccles, Ionao, and Seraphim compared 180 industry-matched US-based companies, 90 of which they classified as high sustainability and the other 90 as low sustainability. The two sets of companies were selected due to their indistinguishable financial performances in the early 1990s, which allowed for the most accurate examination of their long-term performances. The classification was based in part on their adoption of environmental policies in the 90s that reinforced a commitment to sustainability and the environment. Examples of environmental policies included carbon emissions reduction and energy efficiency strategies. Over an 18-year period, the high sustainability companies adopted an average of 40% of these policies early on, versus their counterparts that adopted an average of only 10%. The high sustainability organizations had 7% more long-term investors than their low sustainability counterparts, and the high sustainability companies significantly outperformed those with low sustainability in the stock market and in other various accounting measures. The annual above-market average return for the high sustainability group was 4.8% higher than their rivals and with lower overall volatility. They also measured greater return on equity and greater return on assets. Additionally, the high sustainability companies generated 10.8% more revenue from customers. Many companies are recognizing that climate change is a real problem and are heeding the EPA's advice. General Electric, for instance, manufactures equipment that is responsible for an astounding one-third of the world's electricity capacity, and the company is working hard to ensure their production is clean and efficient. GE's digital wind farm concept can boost a wind farm's energy production by 20% using predictive analytics to find the best way to align the massive turbines. And this is just one example of the products created under GE's broad, renewable business strategy, Eco-Imagination. Some companies may hesitate or choose not to implement green initiatives due to the upfront capital investment. But GE has shown how worthwhile the investment can be. By the end of 2015, the company had invested $17 billion in clean technology research and development, while generating $232 billion in revenue from its products. In the early 1990s, carpet manufacturing was a toxic petroleum-based process that regularly released vast amounts of air and water pollution and created tons of harmful waste. In 1994, Ray Anderson, founder and chairman of Interface, a commercial carpet company, set a goal for his company to take nothing from the earth that they could not replace. Anderson referred to this as his spear in the chest epiphany. 15 years later, Anderson reported that his early call for change at Interface cut the company's greenhouse gas emissions by 82%, reduced fossil fuel consumption by 60%, decreased water use by 75%, and cut waste by 66%. During this time, the company simultaneously increased sales by 66%, doubled their earnings, and raised their operating profit margins. Another example of how going green benefits business comes from the Cliff Bar Company, which has achieved great success through the production of organic food and beverages. The company's core values include Think Like a Tree, which describes their commitment to sustainability and reducing their overall ecological footprint. And this is not just a value that sounds good on paper. For example, in 2002, they discontinued the use of shrink wrap, saving more than 90,000 pounds of plastic each year. Another of the many steps the company has taken to achieve their goal and to preserve the integrity of this core value was in 2011 when their first solar array in North America was installed, which provides the majority of their operating electricity. The results were that Cliff Bar grew their business at an annual compounded rate of 17% and doubled their number of employees during the time of their environmentally focused strategy implementation. Consumers are becoming increasingly educated about the environmental impacts of various human activities and are willing and able to reward and consequently punish companies based on their corporate social responsibility efforts. A 2013 global study conducted by Cone Communications found that 71% of Americans consider the environment when they shop, and that's up from 66% in 2008. 88% of consumers feel a responsibility to purchase products they think are socially and environmentally responsible. And 91% of global consumers said they are likely to switch brands to one associated with a good cause, given comparable price and quality. Business leaders are quickly learning they can no longer afford to put profits ahead of the environment. Half of those surveyed by Cone who indicated they make purchase decisions based in part on sustainability actions are millennials. And as of 2015, millennials surpassed baby boomers as the largest generation, also making them the largest consumer base. So, catering to their wants and needs is just smart business. In addition to being environmentally conscious and responsible, there are other benefits helping these companies reach their positive financial goals, like tax incentives. Federal, state, and local governments offer a range of financial opportunities for organizations undertaking environmentally responsible initiatives. At the federal level, the IRS permits businesses using environmentally friendly company vehicles, like hybrids, to take an alternative motor vehicle credit on their federal taxes. The federal government also allows companies up to a 30% tax credit for using solar and wind energy. Tax credit incentives are also available at the state level. Florida, for example, offers a variety of policies and incentives. The Solar Energy System Incentives Program allows Florida companies to cash in on rebates, and the Renewable Energy and Energy Efficient Technologies Grants Program offers grants to businesses that have elected to utilize solar and other renewable energy sources to run their operations. Other tax benefits include a corporate tax credit available to companies that produce and sell electricity from renewable energy facilities. Also, Florida businesses who have opted to use solar energy systems, machinery, equipment, and other renewable energy technologies are eligible for certain sales tax exemptions. Despite the ongoing debate between politicians and scientists regarding the legitimacy of global warming, climate change is real. Without action, the Earth's average surface temperature is projected to rise by more than 30 degrees Fahrenheit over the 21st century, with some areas of the world getting even warmer. When a business decides to go green, they are accepting responsibility for the effects they have on the natural world, and they're also electing to operate in ways that promote environmental sustainability by aiming to reduce or even eliminate their ecological impact. The data is clear. Going green is profitable. Companies like GE, Enterbase, and Cliff Bar that adopt environmental policies and implement operating changes outperform those who do not. While going green makes fiscal sense, it has also become a consumer expectation. Millennials, now the largest customer base, are defining value in a whole new way, including to preserve the environment. Business leaders with a true focus on the environment incorporate sustainability into all key decision-making processes. They work to minimize the production of harmful chemical emissions, excess materials, and waste byproducts in the delivery of their goods and services. And they understand that investing in the environment is just as much an investment in the long-term profitability of their business. The bottom line is this: when a business reduces their environmental impact, it will directly improve the sustainability of the environment as well as itself. And that is why businesses that choose to go green stay in the black.